Red pill disclaimer. Welcome to Gawdzell's channel. By watching this video, you are choosing to take the red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes. All opinions expressed are Gawdzell's alone, and any copyrighted content belongs to its respective owners. Viewer discretion is advised.
Can you see it now? Can you see the Matrix for what it truly is?
Alright, y'all, we're gonna get right into it. No intro.
We've got breaking news from New York. A lawsuit has accused rapper Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000, allegedly alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser says the alleged assault happened after the teen was driven to an MTV Video Music after party. The federal suit was originally filed in October, listing Combs as a defendant. It's now been refiled to include Carter. None of the allegations have been proven in court. Carter is the first celebrity to be accused of sexual assault in connection to Combs. We've got breaking news from New York.
Oh man, it's going down, y'all. It's going down. Everybody, all these celebrities getting exposed.
Now, the lawyer that Jay-Z is referring to, as we said before, is Tony Busby. He'd previously sent Jay-Z a letter seeking to mediate a settlement. Now, Busby said the lawsuit, quote, speaks for itself, and that this is, quote, a very serious matter that will be litigated in court. Jay-Z's statement went on to offer support to, quote, the true victims in this world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. So those are very harsh words there by Jay-Z. He stated that Busby's, quote, terrible error in judgment was assuming the same thing about all celebrities. I'm not from your world, Jay-Z wrote. I'm a young man who made it out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these games. We have very strict codes and honor. Now, Jay-Z goes on to say, we protect children. And then he's speaking to Busby directly when he says, you seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, which we think he means to say psychics there, will believe the idiotic claims you have leveled against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. Now, clearly, those are such strong words by Jay-Z. This is an emphatic denial, and he goes straight after Busby here. Now, the lawyer that Jay-Z is referring to, as we said before,
tonight, explosive allegations against legendary rapper and mogul Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. A new civil lawsuit is accusing him of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs, which they both deny.
They got the same name. Nah, bro, ain't no way they got the same name. I gotta look this up. Hold on, real quick. What? They really got the same name.
The suit claims the alleged assault happened after the Video Music Awards in 2000, the year Jay-Z was nominated for Big Pimpin'. The mogul, husband of megastar Beyonce, calling the accusation heinous. Now his lawyers also firing back.
Imagine getting in trouble for some stuff you did in the past. Like, that's tough, but that's sad though. Like, you really did that, bro. If it was something else, really different. It was something different, but dang, it's crazy. Like, they really getting caught up with some stuff you did in the past. Nah, so, yeah. But to be honest, y'all, I honestly think this just be like, who knows if they really doing this stuff or not, you know? But I just feel like these whoever's in charge in this matrix is trying to like expose them to keep themselves safe, you know? Because what about them? What about the people that's really out here? You know, y'all know there's some sick individuals out here. So how we live. It has to be a sick individual to tell you that this is okay, to how we live. This is not okay. Getting up every day, doing the same stuff in this matrix, like, It has to be a sick individual that's in charge of this, man, for sure. That nobody put a stop to it, nothing. So I really be feeling like maybe they did do this stuff, maybe they didn't. You know, and you see how they just exposing them though? Like, expose yourself too. You know, y'all. I'm just saying, like,
saying these are false, unfounded allegations. The lawsuit was originally filed in October against Combs, Jay-Z's longtime friend, and an unnamed Celebrity A. But now it has been refiled, naming Celebrity A as Jay-Z.
There is nothing unusual about the timing other than the fact that the client authorized us to amend the lawsuit and name Jay-Z as a defendant.
The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs afterparty she says Combs hosted. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched. Now Jay-Z accusing the woman's attorney of trying to blackmail him in a demand letter, suggesting the attorney had tried to seek a settlement first.
These kinds of demand letters are sent on a daily basis across the United States, and attempting to attack me to take the focus off of the alleged perpetrator won't work, and it won't intimidate us.
Sean Combs remains behind bars awaiting trial on various federal charges, including sex trafficking, which he has pleaded not guilty. Busby has filed a string of civil suits against Combs, which Combs' attorneys have dismissed as shameless publicity stunts.
And Chloe, we don't know the identity of the accuser, which was the crux of a filing today.
That's exactly right, Lester.
It was Diddy. Come on, man. They know. Someone they don't know. Diddy is snitching, man.
Accuser is currently listed as Jane Doe in the lawsuit, but just hours ago, Jay-Z's attorney filed a motion demanding that her identity be revealed or have this case completely dismissed. Now, ultimately, this will be the judge's decision, but it's also possible that the accuser, who is now an adult, could come forward and reveal her identity on her own, Lester.
All right, Chloe Malas, thank you.
Tonight,
This is crazy. This is the downfall of Hollywood, y'all. Y'all see this? Like, this is real life. Like, they really, it's over with, man. It's over. Like, this matrix is crumbling.
Like, so many people are trying their hardest to associate Jay-Z with this Diddy situation. But I don't really see any evidence of it myself.
I don't care about Jay-Z.
Okay.
I saw Reasonable Doubt, so I get no giving. That's just, that man, whatever's going on with him is on him. I just can't spend so much time worried about another man and what they doing and how they feel and how people perceive them. You know, I got my own shit to be worried about. I got to get this money. I'm independent. You know, that whole situation, those people are in my rear view. Pause. So I don't care. On a human level, if the shit is true, you know, I'm curious to know how true it is. But, you know, based on my experiences and the fact that I wanted to get away, I personally made the decision to get away from that camp. So, you know, that was my personal experiences. I didn't want to be over there. Things weren't, you know what I mean? Like morally, we weren't, it's just not the same fabric. So that's why I went and did my thing. I'm not as tolerant as certain things.
Like, so many people are trying their hard.
Jay-Z just came straight out and said, indict me. It's a brilliant move. And I'm going to tell you 3 reasons why this is brilliant. And the third one is actually the best. Number one, Jay-Z putting it to the public. Come out right in front of the story. Don't let them create a story about you and the narrative changes. You have to address things right out. Soon as that thing came out that Sunday night, they already had a press release ready. Number two, what's happening with this case is going to help a lot of other celebrities and high-profile people, because he's taking the heat for a lot of others that won't be able to be in this position to do that. He has the money, he can fight it in court, he can do all those things, but somebody who's at a lower level, they don't want to lose the exposure, so they might basically bow down to this lawyer and, you know, settle or do some other things. Jay-Z said, let's go to court. And the third thing, which is the most important part, he's calling out the accuser's lawyer because he thinks it's basically he's been a shakedown and he's seeing how everything is going. So he's saying, indict me. Let's take this to trial, put me on the stand, make it a criminal case so I can defend myself. If he just lets it slip off and they don't press charges or do anything, Jay-Z's still going to look guilty. So he'll rather get indicted. Jay-Z just came straight out and said, indict me. It's a brilliant move. And
there's an accusation about Jay-Z and Diddy and a teenager, 13-year-old teenager.
Right.
And we were speaking about just the statement.
Right.
The statement, you were saying you felt like that was calculated.
That was, that the statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, like, you're going to find out, like how I'll handle this. Like, and that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like your publicist wouldn't say this.
Right. This is on your,
put that out,
yeah, this is on, 50? Yeah, it says, I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. You know, I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Right. Because look, they will fall back, but they like the NFL, they won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right. Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of the culture. I'm just telling my opinion.
Right.
Look,
because you're part of the culture.
Like I can't say anything now. I'm out of it. I'm like I'm going to Dre's studio and just sit with Dre a little.
Right.
And then maybe I stay out of trouble.
Nah. There's an accusation.
I fed Jay-Z's public statement to ChatGPT. I gave it parameters and I gave it context. I'm going to let you know what it said back. Here is what I said. Using everything you know about psychology, human behavior, and reading through the lines, analyze this statement and tell me what you think. Tell me if it feels honest. If you believe the author theoretically, why and why not? This is the context that I gave it. For context, this is a celebrity responding to a lawyer for publicly naming him in a civil suit of sexual assault of a minor. This lawyer gave said celebrity the option to proceed with this case unnamed if he complied. The celebrity called bullshit. The lawyer made good on his threat. That being said, the reason the case is civil and not criminal is because of the statute of limitations. There's a lot to corroborate this celebrity based on his location the night of the crime, and obviously more details that neither I or the public knows. I then posted the statement that Jay-Z put on Rock Nation, and I'm going to have that here for you to read as context. Here's what ChatGPT said back. The statement offers several insights into the celebrity's mindset and rhetorical strategy, but there are elements that raise questions about its authenticity and intent. Let's break it down in terms of tone, content, psychology, and potential motives. Tone and language. Defensive and aggressive. The tone is highly emotional and confrontational, with aligns with someone who feels unjustly accused. However, the aggression, fraud, deplorable human, ambulance chaser in a cheap suit, could be interpreted as an overcompensation, trying to undermine the accuser rather than directly addressing the allegations. Moral high ground. The repeated emphasis on honor, protecting children, and codes of conduct serves to frame the author as principled. This could be genuine or a calculated attempt to appear morally superior. Appeal to sympathy. References to his children's innocence and the difficulty of explaining the situation tug at emotional strings. This can be read as a way to humanize himself and shift focus to the collateral damage of the allegations.
So he guilty.
Content. Focus on the lawyer, not the allegations. I think this was the most important thing ChatGPT noticed. Most of the statement attacks the lawyer rather than directly denying the accusations in clear terms. While the denial is implicit, it lacks a definitive, unambiguous statement like, "I did not commit this crime." Invitation for a criminal complaint. By inviting a criminal complaint, the celebrity attempts to frame the civil suit as a weak, opportunistic move. This could suggest confidence in their innocence, or it could be a calculated move, knowing the statute of limitations prevents criminal charges. Brooklyn background reference. The appeal to his upbringing and strict codes seems performative, perhaps aiming to create an image of credibility rooted in integrity. Psychological and behavioral analysis. Projection of control. The statement's author appears determined to present themselves as in control, not intimidated, and confident in their ability to expose wrongdoing. This can suggest innocence, but it might also be a defense mechanism against perceived loss of control due to public scrutiny. Minimizing allegations. The statement minimizes the severity of the claims against him, shifting attention to the lawyer's methods rather than addressing the allegations head-on. Pattern recognition in similar cases. High-profile individuals accused of misconduct often use tactics such as discrediting accusers, invoking family or moral values, and highlighting perceived flaws in the accuser's character or history. Does it feel honest? Potentially honest elements. The emotional appeal about his family and the anger toward public scrutiny could be genuine, especially if he feels blindsided by the allegations. The public suggestion to pursue a criminal case might also indicate confidence in his innocence or an understanding that it isn't legally possible. Red flags for dishonesty. The heavy focus on attacking the lawyer's character without directly addressing the victim or the specific allegations may signal a deflection. Similarly, the statement's length and emotionally charged language could indicate an attempt to overwhelm or manipulate public perception rather than simply refuting the claims. Do I believe him? Without more evidence or knowledge of the case, it's difficult to make a definitive judgment. However, certain rhetorical patterns, like attacking the lawyer, invoking family and community values, vague denials, are common in statements designed to sway opinion rather than address the truth. Theoretical why or why not. Why it could be honest. The celebrity feels genuinely wronged and is reacting emotionally. They have a track record of maintaining their integrity and see this as an attack on their reputation. The public nature and statement aligns with someone who wants transparency. Why it might not be honest. The focus on the lawyer rather than the victim suggests a potential avoidance of directly engaging with the allegations. The overemphasis on morality and honor could be a smokescreen to distract from the substance of the claims. The tone of superiority, "I'm not like other celebrities," could be an attempt to differentiate himself from others who may have been guilty in similar situations while subtly sidestepping the facts of the case.
I just caught me. I'm not like other celebrities. He do give off that type of energy.
Final thoughts. The statement feels carefully constructed to provoke emotional support and undermine the accuser's credibility. It does not fully resolve doubts about the allegations due to its lack of a clear, direct denial and its focus on deflecting blame. While some parts may reflect genuine frustration, others seem performative or strategically crafted to influence public perception. So what do you think about the statement?
That's interesting though. Chat GPT is able to even like come up with that.
Whatever it was, Jay-Z did it. He most definitely did it. And Beyonce watched him. And if she didn't watch him do it, she was probably in the other room listening. Okay? And she probably doing some stuff too. And probably done did some stuff. And we probably gonna hear about that too before the year is out. Okay? Whatever it was, Jay-Z did it. He most
headed for the next 3 years, 25, 26, and 27, with the beginning initial stages of the knockdown when it comes to Jay-Z. When they take him down, they're going to take Beyonce down behind him. And here's what I'm getting. I am getting both Jay-Z and Beyonce because, see, he procures her out there. He is her handler, and he is the one that pushes her out there public, and then he profits off her. So we're looking at, she was chosen for him. It is a karmic thing looking at their chart, but she was chosen for him in order to help him get where he needed to go. So she's the muse, but let's use this in a different way. Sometimes we use the word muse in the terms of profiteering off of it. He's very aware of entertainers, male and female, where he needs to go to keep his money coming in and what he's actually selling. He is going to be shaken up. Now, what I do see 3 years from now, him, his wife, and his kid, I don't know if there's more than one kid, see them with suitcases, and I literally see them leaving. So their residence will no longer be in the United States. This is what I'm seeing. And this happens by 2027, if not sooner, 2025 through 2027. And it's going to start crumbling, okay? So it's the next 3 years. Headed for the next...
The Matrix is crumbling, man. All this stuff is, it has to come to an end. And they know this. This is why they at this point, they just want to expose everyone into the Hollywood, And then they know they next too, but I don't feel like they're gonna do that. Like to themselves, they feel like we already picked the truths of the movie. We already giving y'all some truths of these celebrities, what they doing. We did enough. We ain't did nothing wrong, but in the background, they is hiding and shit.
I think the Jay-Z allegations are interesting because they bring up a topic overall, which is the court of public opinion being more powerful and more incriminating than the court of law. And whether it was in the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case where you thought one thing and it swung, sometimes things swing the other way, whether you like the way Kevin Spacey has handled himself in his life or not, he was found not guilty. And it's seeming like Diddy's looking very guilty, like a Harvey Weinstein. But we've seen so many celebrities go through, how many pregnancies have they had that they didn't have? How many allegations have happened that weren't real? So we really don't know until we know. And it is a scary thing to just ignore innocent until proven guilty when there's so much clickbait. Like, headlines are what sell newspapers. So I know I've been reading comments and many of you have your own opinions based on the image of someone that has been fed to us through the media. But do we really know what goes on behind closed doors until there's actual proof? I mean, what do you think? I think the Jay-Z allegation...
That is true. We don't really know, what's going on behind closed doors for real. It says you judge a person by who their friends are. Yeah.
It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
In your public statements, you've mentioned 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 of them men and 2 of them women. Can you tell me where that's inaccurate?
You're right.
Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appeared to be
either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence of
All
drugs.
of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
All.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors?
2 to 3, possibly 3.
How did you end up in possession of these flash drives?
I ended up with the flash drive with a friend from a record label that I was, at the time I was recording in Atlanta. And I ran into a person that knew Kim Porter. So at the same time, she wanted to speak to me on the phone because she heard my voice. He said, who that? That's Courtney B. And then later on that night, he came over and gave me the flash drive.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about a story that I have not talked about on my channel yet, at least not in any type of significant detail, because the story involving Diddy and his parties and all the things he was doing that, again, is ungodly in nature. You know, it was kind of like, okay, the sky's blue type of moment, right? It was like, okay, I mean, I think everybody kind of knew that this is what these Hollywood weirdos were into. The question for me was really about who is involved, right? Who else is involved with Diddy? Okay, we all know that Diddy allegedly, again, was sex trafficking. He was having these parties where he would drug people and get them to perform sexual acts that required so much physical exertion that they had to get IV fluids afterwards. Okay, I mean, these things were called freak-offs. Okay, freak-offs. And sometimes they were videotaped without the victim knowing. And now he's been arrested by the feds. He's been held in jail after trying to get out on bail 3 times. But he's been denied all 3 times. And he's been charged with federal racketeering and sex trafficking. So my question was not whether or not these things were happening. Again, because we all know that some of these Hollywood widows into this stuff. It's about who else was into it, right? How deep does this go? Okay, and we are getting some hints in regards to who potentially was involved. That's also another big name celebrity, as Jay-Z has been sued for allegedly assaulting a 13-year-old girl along with Diddy. Take a look.
That involves both Jay-Z and Diddy now. This is an amended complaint accusing Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 along with Sean Diddy Combs. This is a new civil filing, and we see the anonymous accuser here alleging the assault occurred after she was driven to an MTV Music Video Awards after party. This lawsuit was originally filed in October, just today refiled to include Jay-Z. I mean, let's start with the basics here. What are you learning about this? What is standing out to you?
Well, what is standing out to me is she was very specific about several things. She describes the house. She describes the...
It's God's side and the other side. And
Molly McPherson, who's
in response to that letter, we have now learned today that Jay-Z was the anonymous celebrity who filed his own lawsuit against Tony Busby. The lawsuit centers around a woman identified solely as Jane Doe and what she claims happened after the Video Music Awards in New York in 2000. Jane Doe says she was just 13 years old at the time and tried to attend the VMAs. She couldn't get into the show without a ticket though. So she began approaching limousine drivers parked outside after the event with inquiries about attending an after party. One of the drivers allegedly worked for Diddy, and the unnamed 13-year-old girl let this driver take her to his after party. Once at the party, she claims that she signed a non-disclosure agreement, which is not legally binding. You can't force a 13-year-old without parental supervision to sign an NDA. And then she accepted a drink. But after only 1 cocktail, she began to feel woozy and lightheaded. So she went to an empty bedroom looking for a place to lie down. There, according to Jane Doe, Diddy entered the room along with a male and female celebrity. We now know, according to this lawsuit, the male celebrity is Jay-Z. Who's the female celebrity? There's a lot of rumors. I've heard one name over and over again, not Beyonce. Remember, it's the year 2000. In response to that letter, we have now learned today that
John Pierce, who are going to respond, and no one's going to let you get away with anything from here on out, especially not me. That's about the gist of it. I just wish that they would have listened to me the first time. We could have avoided some stuff. Just like I wish they had listened to Natanya the first time. We could have avoided some stuff.
Yeah.
13-year-old girl, just trying to get to the action. Somehow she ended up in one of Diddy's cars with one of Diddy's drivers, and her life has never been the same. You know, everyone's talking about Jay-Z, but is anybody talking about that woman? The effects that she's still experiencing 20 years later? Of all of the things that people, oh, you're trying to bring a black man down. Why you want to bring our people down? If you can call people that are capable of doing those things your people, no, you are not my people. You are not my people. If you can call these monsters who do the things that they do to helpless women, pharmaceutically induced into nowhere so that their bodies can be used as a playground for the devil, you're not my people. And shame on anybody who calls them your people. Because if those are your people, please stay far away from me. You're a narcissist. He could care less about anything or anyone else but himself. And those children are body shields. I had to sit down and talk with my children. Since when? You don't got to. Just the people that you hire to take care of them while their mother's locked in a room listening to gospel music, rocking back and forth for 14 hours. And you got to pray for it. You got to pay an evangelist to come to your house to pray out the room. When does she have time to be a mother when she's suffering from all of these? You know, it's so funny because he wants to paint the picture that they're June Cleaver, Ward and June Cleaver. And John Pierce.
Shout out to one of my subscribers seen this, but I've seen not so many of his, but I've seen a couple of her videos. She is hilarious. Let's check this out, man.
Everybody's so creative. Let's make some nachos. Go ahead and make it in the bathroom, since that's probably where it's going to send you afterwards anyway. Go ahead and get some ground beef and throw them in the hand sink. That's right. Fill it up with water. You want to make like a bloody, muddy slurry, something that looks different to your eye. Now cut up a whole bunch of vegetables to make yourself a delicious guacamole to go on the side right there. That's right. You want to make it look like you ain't do it in the bathroom, just in case you have visitors. Make sure you make a big mess and heat it up in the sink. I don't know how you're going to do it, but we got our hands for a reason. So use your hands and mush it all together on the side of the sink. Probably where you lay your little makeup and stuff when you're doing it. It don't matter. That food, you ain't going to be able to taste that. Now go ahead and let the water out of the sink and add taco seasoning to that ground beef. You want it to look edible, but you don't want to tell nobody how you did it. See there? Take your hand and dump it straight on top of those nachos. You don't even need a plate. Why? Because we want to sit next to the toilet. Drizzle cheese all over because it ain't going to slide down easy if it ain't cheesy. You good? Everybody's so creative. Let's make some.
Bro is really cooking in the bathroom. See, people do anything for views. Like, hey, get it. We in the Matrix. Ain't nobody want to go to work. Sometimes you gotta be creative, man. That's too creative, though. That's nasty creative. That's nasty, dude. In the bathroom. Come on, dog.
I'm learning so many things on the internet. This is a tip that'll.
All right, this is Isis Wisdom. You can check this out. See what she's talking about in here. She's addressing. It says this is the title of the video. It says it has begun. Jay-Z accused of SA with a minor, and did Billy Carson take an L? What happened with Billy Carson? What's going on with Billy Carson? Let's see what he's got to say, bro. Yes.
Love you too, baby. Rod Watson, what's going on? What's going on? Y'all quick to put a request in to get into the live. Oh, I'm going to talk about some things today. I'm on my bullshit right now, so I'm going to talk about some things today. And you know it's rare that I talk about this kind of stuff anyway, so you know I'm on some bullshit today. I decided to have what a damn way to start the week. Yo, listen. Yeah, my jaw dropped about the news. Listen. Now, y'all know who BC is, right? Because he looks so crazy to me out here right now. I'm like, God damn, man. You got us out here looking.
This is what happened with Billy Carson. He was on a debate. And I guess he didn't go too
I just got done watching the debate between Wes Huff and Billy Carson. It did not go well for Billy. Imagine every single one of your claims being refuted on video. I would have pulled up to the producer's house too.
Even in the Bible, it says they.
Since some people couldn't understand the lie,
Jesus never said the first.
I'm trying to see if they got more. All right, before we watch that, we're gonna watch this right here. So he must have. So basically, what happened was he basically got embarrassed on, not embarrassed, but he got like, I guess exposed. I would say.
I'm here with my good man, Billy Carson. If you want to, I guess, go first, Billy, as to how you came about, like the findings where it seems that Jesus was not crucified, or that's not accurate.
Sure. And in my videos, and if you listen to the podcast, the statement is according to the Sinai Bible, and the text there actually is about 12 to 14,000 differences between the Sinai Bible and the King James Version of the Bible, which came much later. And then also one of the things that were interesting is that they discovered the book of Jesus is, according to some scholars, that's a little controversial, but they claim that this is an accurate record that Jesus may have even been married, which then, adds more, if that's true, it adds more to the hypothesis that maybe he wasn't crucified. I just personally believe that Jesus was an amazing human being. I don't think that he was the Son of God in the sense that he's God, but that we're all gods. As he said, ye are gods. And I just personally believe that the return of the Christ is the return of the Christ consciousness. When we can all achieve a certain level of knowledge, wisdom, passion, understanding, empathy, love that he came to this planet with, and we get that in our mind and our conscience, and we can act on those incredible emotions and that understanding, that the whole world is going to transform instantaneously. And I think at the second coming is the coming of the Christ consciousness to the planet, not a human being flying back to Earth to save people. That's just my personal understanding of how I've perceived it over many, many years of going through this information and going through all this text.
When you say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically?
It's the biblical text that was written. It made it into you can actually look it up on Amazon. It's a Bible called, I have a version at home. It's called the Sinai Bible, right, from Mount Sinai. I'm assuming that's the mountain that they're referencing there. But they put together their own version of the biblical text prior to the King James Version being put out.
Sure. So when you refer to the Sinai Bible, would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus? Like the codex that comes? Okay. That's why I was trying to get some clarification. Because, so you can actually go and see, Codex Sinaiticus is at the British Library. So you can go and see it. It's on display. And the British Library has actually digitized the entire manuscript. So I work with manuscripts in my linguistic work. I'm an expert on early Christian scribal culture, and particularly in Greek and Coptic manuscripts. I actually have I have a facsimile. So I have a photocopy that was done by the British Library of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office. So I have it here.
I'm sorry, yo. I'm sorry. Bro, I just be finding stuff funny. Like I don't know. I just be looking at all the details. It's like, and then in the comments, I'm thinking I'm the only one that's thinking like this. He's about when he pulled out the book, Billy got mad thirsty. Nah, he really out here putting out the books and all that. I always wonder, like, do they really read all those books up there? They probably do. Shit. Some people don't though. They probably just be gathering books up there to make it seem like they read. Nah, let me stop playing. But some people probably do be reading though. That's what's up. How many of y'all read? I don't read. I need to do that. Dang, all them books, man. There's no way that you read every book though. I don't believe that. He just got them. He's just like, day by day, looking through it, whatever. That is
And
funny though.
the only reason I asked for clarification is because I want to make sure that what I'm addressing is actually what you mean.
Gotcha.
And not addressing something else. Because the Codex Sinaiticus in particular is just a it's a 4th century Greek manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from approximately between 325 and 350 AD. And its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from. So my curiosity is just simply in kind of exploring when you say that it denies the crucifixion or that the crucifixion isn't there. I mean, I can go on right now, Codex Sinaiticus, and I can look up the end of, say, Matthew 27, where it has Jesus being crucified.
There you go.
And that's in Codex Sinaiticus, or, the John 19, or any of the other ones. So I think my confusion is that it doesn't read any differently. So actually, are you able to pull up a website with the viewers or listeners or whatever
I'm
be able
looking
to
for
see
it
that?
right now to make sure I have the version that I'm looking at.
I'm just curious, like the Sinai Bible, where was that piece
I found
discovered?
the text where I was referencing. Actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
So that's good.
Somebody said he didn't expect to find an expert. Man, get out of here, man.
Good. So let's deal with that too, because I've actually worked with, there are 2 manuscripts of the Gospel of Barnabas. The Gospel of Barnabas is a really interesting document because it is a known forgery. And so that's why I think it's important to get to these sources. So at the very start of the Gospel of Barnabas, which we only have 2 copies of, one is in Italian and one is in Spanish. We see right off the bat that the Gospel of Barnabas, not to be confused with either the Epistle of Barnabas or the Acts of Barnabas, which are 2 apocryphal documents from the 2nd century, but the Gospel of Barnabas in particular, we know it's a forgery because it does things like in chapter 92, it says that Jesus spent 40 days on Mount Sinai, and then he came to the Jordan River and he walked to Jerusalem. But Mount Sinai is more than a week's journey away from Jerusalem, and neither Mount Sinai nor Jerusalem are close to the Jordan River. Never mind there not being a route from the Jordan River to around Mount Sinai or going to Jerusalem. But there are internal problems with the Gospel of Barnabas, which indicate that it shows no actual indication of evidence of coming from or even having knowledge of first century Jewish understanding. It actually says Jesus is the Christ, but not the Messiah, which indicates that whoever the author is, he didn't know that those were the same words. And I think a bigger problem is that the Gospel of Barnabas actually paraphrases Dante's Inferno, which was written in 1314. So there's a lot of internal evidences that disqualify the Gospel of Barnabas, never mind the fact that we don't have any evidence of it prior to the 14th century, and none in any other language other than Middle Age Italian Italian and Spanish. But the internal content of the Gospel of Barnabas disqualifies it from being ancient. And then the fact that it's doing things like paraphrasing Dante, or it also refers to a rule of the time of Jubilee, which was changed in the Middle Ages from what it was in the biblical year of Jubilee. And it goes with the Middle Ages concept, not the ancient concept. So if there is something that denies the crucifixion, I want to make sure that I'm analyzing it and that the methodology by which I analyze it actually reveals that the content can be accurately tied to the event. So if we're talking about, say, Codex Sinaiticus, that's in the 4th century. Now that is, I would agree with you, Billy, our oldest copy of the Bible in the sense of cover to cover, Genesis to Revelation copy of the Bible.
Right.
The problem is that we have individual copies of all 4 Gospels going back hundreds of years before Codex Sinaiticus.
He's right.
So I have a facsimile behind me of P66. This is a late 2nd century copy of the Gospel of John. I work with this particular manuscript. I can just show the screen right here. This is an almost complete copy of the Gospel of John.
I have that papyrus at home.
Oh, that's
so I'll show you this. So the documents you actually see on my bookshelf behind me are facsimile papyri that I've made. So when I was in Egypt last summer, I went and I got made for me some papyrus sheets. And so I take these papyrus sheets, which are made from the papyrus plant, and then when I go and I look at actual manuscripts, so I was at the University of Philadelphia last summer, and I went and I saw a document called P1, which is a 3rd century fragment of the beginning of the Gospel of Matthew. And so what I did is I sat down with that original and I produced a facsimile. I copied the text. First of all, I cut it out with an X-Acto knife, not the original 3rd century one on my papyrus. I cut out with an X-Acto knife this guy, and then I copied the text transcriptionally on the front and the back. So papyrus is just simply, it's what it's made out of.
Yeah.
The only with what you said, Billy, is that we have single copies of the Gospels that can be dated to the 2nd century that all do have the crucifixion. And so if we're relying on something like the Gospel of Barnabas, which is not just like, it's not that there's debate about it, it's that it's a known forgery. I mean, no one's referring to the Gospel of Barnabas as anything other than...
If you say it's a known forgery, an expert, I'm going to go with that. Let's talk about the Old Testament a little bit and leading up into the New Testament.
Well, hold on, because do you mind if I address the Gospel of Jesus' wife?
Sure, go ahead.
What was her name? Yeah, I'm like trying to write notes like I know what I'm doing, but I'm just curious.
So the Gospel of Jesus' wife doesn't actually mention. So oftentimes what happens is that the text of the Gospel of Jesus' wife is kind of paralleled with the Gospel of Philip, which mentions that that Jesus would kiss Mary Magdalene on the mouth. And so those are kind of used in parallel to kind of for this argument that Jesus was married. So the Gospel of Jesus' wife is in the Harvard Library. However, the reason we know it's also not legitimate is because even though the manuscript, the papyrus that it's on, was carbon dated to the 4th century, the text was actually copied from a PDF version of the Gospel of Thomas known as Grandin's Interlinear, and there was a mistake in the Coptic text of Grandin's Interlinear that was copied into the Gospel of Jesus' wife. So we know that this is not a legitimate document, even though the papyrus is ancient, and this happens a lot with forgeries. I have a couple of friends who have actually worked on projects that have revealed forgeries within Dead Sea Scroll manuscripts and within other ancient Christian papyri. But the reason why we know the Gospel of Jesus' wife and that Karen King, who kind of vouched for it and she lost a lot of credibility, unfortunately, for her, and she's admitted that it's a fake as well, was because we can tie it directly to not copying from an ancient text, but actually copying from an online version of the Gospel of Thomas in a PDF form. And the mistake on that PDF form was copied into the text that was borrowed in the phraseology of Jesus' wife.
I'm here with my good man, Billy Carson.
Hey, this is what I'm going to say. You don't need a book to know how to live life, man. All right, life is going to teach you. Like, life is gonna give you. It's gonna show you. Bro, like that book is not gonna teach you how to live life, man. It's not. Right.
Billy Carson is attempting to sue me.
Predominantly, from my research, I discovered that a lot of information from the Enuma Elish and the seven tablets of creation is in Genesis. A lot of the creation story that comes into Genesis, almost word for word from the Enuma Elish and the seven tablets of creation.
So what are the parallels there?
Separated the waters from the waters, for example. That's in the Enuma Elish, and that's also in the biblical text.
For those of you who don't know, I was invited to interact with Billy on a podcast that he agreed to come on. It was not his podcast, where he was notified beforehand who I was and what we'd be talking about. After that debate took place, Billy attempted to suppress the footage. That didn't really work. I've released clips from that conversation. Well, Billy does not want you to see those clips and has sent me a cease and desist letter. I was really hoping that this could be an opportunity for Billy to learn, to see the major errors that he's been repeating and turn this into a learning experience. I even offered to follow up with Billy in order to show him how and where he could find accurate and credible resources in order to make sure that what he was saying was verifiably correct going forward in the future, so he and his audience could learn and proceed knowledgeably. Billy did not agree. But unfortunately for Billy, agreeing to a debate, losing that debate, and feeling embarrassed about that loss does not constitute legitimate grounds to litigate. Billy, I will agree to all the terms and conditions of the cease and desist letter that you have sent me if you agree to run it back, sit down with me in person, and have another discussion. This is my formal response. Billy Carson is attempting to sue me.
I just got done.
His fans call him the biggest threat to Christianity, and he calls himself,
guess what, guys? I'm one of the foremost world leader in the knowledge on ancient texts and tablets, scriptures, papyruses, and cylinders.
But Billy Carson recently faced a challenge like never before, a debate with Wes Hoff, a Christian scholar and historian, and afterwards, Billy reportedly showed up to the producer's house at 2:30 a.m. demanding that the
Is I'm the only one that's just like this dude, Wes, whatever. He like a reptile. I'm just saying, I don't know, every time I look at him, it's like a reptilian or something, like a lizard.
Footage not be released. And if you haven't heard about this debate yet, there's a reason for that.
In the wake of the interview, Billy Carson has asked that the recording not be released. In my personal opinion, the conversation did not go well for Billy, though.
But fortunately, I got my hands on a copy, and after watching it, I can see why Billy tried to keep this off the internet. For the very first, and likely the last time, Billy had a debate where his claims about Christianity were put to the test. So let's break down why this debate was so damaging to Billy's credibility and his claims about Christianity. So the debate started off with Billy's argument that Jesus was never crucified, which, of course, if true, that means that Christianity is false. And here's the evidence that he gave in support of his claim.
In my videos, and if you listen to the podcast, the statement is according to the Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible. And that Bible predates the King James Version of the Bible. And the text there actually is about 12 to 14,000 differences between the Sinai Bible and the King James Version of the Bible, which came much later. And then also one of the things that were interesting is that they discovered the book of Jesus' wife, which is at the Harvard Seminary, which according to some scholars, that's a little controversial, but they claim that this is an accurate record that Jesus may have even been married, which then, adds more, if that's true, it adds more to the hypothesis that maybe he wasn't crucified.
So basically he's saying that this alleged Sinai Bible doesn't claim that Jesus was crucified and that it predates the King James Version of the Bible. And by the way, on a little side note, there's no such thing as a King James manuscript. Like the other translations, the King James Version is just based on the biblical manuscripts that were found. And in addition to the evidence that Billy provided against the crucifixion of Jesus, Billy also says that we discovered the book of Jesus' wife, which he claims shows that Jesus might have been married. Now,
you say the Sinai Bible. What are you referring to specifically?
It's the biblical text that was written. It made it into you can actually look it up on Amazon. It's a Bible called, I have a version at home. It's called the Sinai Bible, right, from Mount Sinai. I'm assuming that's the mountain that they're referencing there. But they put together their own version of the biblical text prior to the King James Version being put out.
Sure. So when you refer to the Sinai Bible, would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus? Like the codex that comes... Okay.
So the reason why Wes is asking him this is because there's no such thing as the Sinai Bible, apart from a title that someone on Amazon gave it for a copy of it that they were selling. But that book only contains the Codex Sinaiticus, which is really bad news for Billy, because as Wes makes very clear...
So I work with manuscripts in my linguistic work. I'm an expert on early Christian scribal culture, and particularly in Greek and Coptic manuscripts. I actually have a facsimile. So I have a photocopy that was done by the British Library of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office. So I have it here. And the Codex Sinaiticus in particular is just a Greek, it's a 4th century Greek manuscript. It comes from approximately between 325 and 350 AD. And its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from.
Yikes. So Wes actually has the manuscript that Billy's referring to in his office, and he studies this for a living. But even more devastating...
When you say that it denies the crucifixion, or that the crucifixion isn't there, I mean, I can go on right now, Codex Sinaiticus, and I can look up the end of, say, Matthew 27, where it has Jesus being crucified. And that's in Codex Sinaiticus, or the John 19, or any of the other ones. So actually, are you able to pull up a website with the viewers or listeners or whatever?
I'm looking for it right now to make sure I have the right the version that I'm looking at.
All right. Now, if it isn't clear by now, this is devastating for Billy's credibility. Billy has ran with this claim for years until Wes decides to ask Billy to pull it up online so that way they can verify it together. And then Billy says that he wants to make sure he has the right version. But I'm not even sure what he means by right version, because there's only one version, the one that Billy has referred to countless times over the last few years. And by the way, you don't have to take Wes's word for it. You can go to codexsinaiticus.org right now to view it yourself. And if you do, you'll find that it's virtually exact to the Bible that we have today, which is why you won't find a single scholar on the planet that agrees with Billy or has any idea what he's talking about here. So now that Billy is really in the hot seat, let's hear how he responds.
On the text where I was referencing, actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
Okay, now, let's be charitable. So it is certainly possible that he could have misquoted the reference. The only problem is this isn't the first time that he said this, and he even said it at the beginning of the debate.
In my videos, and if you listen to the podcast, the statement is according to the Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible.
And he's made this exact claim in almost every major podcast interview that he's been on. But if he really did misquote his reference, then we would expect for him to quote the Sinai Bible or the Book of Barnabas when he makes the argument against the crucifixion. So given this, I can't make sense of why he usually quotes them both as evidence that the crucifixion never happened.
I give you one big translation that's off is they say, well, Jesus was crucified.
Whoa.
Well, that doesn't exist in the Sinai Bible.
What happened?
It doesn't exist in the Book of Barnabas.
So if I was a fan of Billy, then I would be pretty concerned that prior to this, he hasn't had a debate where someone can challenge him on his claims. And the first time that he was challenged, he basically admits that he was wrong. And this shows that he's been undeniably misleading people with this claim. But I'm sure that we could all overlook this mistake if the point about the Book of Barnabas still stands, right? Well, let's see what Wes has to say about this claim.
The Gospel of Barnabas is a really interesting document because it is a known forgery. It shows no actual indication of evidence of coming from or even having knowledge of first century Jewish understanding. And I think a bigger problem is that the Gospel of Barnabas actually paraphrases Dante's Inferno. Never mind the fact that we don't have any evidence of it prior to the 14th century, and none in any other language other than Middle Age Italian Italian and Spanish.
Okay, now what Wes said there was incredibly important because the first piece of evidence that Billy gave in support of his claim that Jesus was never crucified was based on the claim that these books came before the King James Bible and didn't include the crucifixion. But the actual biblical texts that our Bibles are based on, they reference the crucifixion and go back to the 2nd century. So that means it's impossible for Billy to be correct about this, since he cites the Sinai Bible that goes back to the 4th century and does reference the crucifixion, and the Book of Barnabas is more than 1,000 years later than the biblical manuscripts that we have, and it wasn't even written in Greek, but instead Italian and Spanish, and by the way, it was a proven forgery. So now that Billy's back is up against the wall once again with facts that refute his claim, let's hear what Billy has to say for himself. His fans call him the biggest threat to Christianity, and he calls himself,
guess what, guys? I'm one of the foremost world leader in the knowledge.
Come on, man. These books are man-made. Like, I just don't, like, that's what I just don't understand. Like, okay, man. Somebody wrote that book. But was it God, Jesus himself? No. Okay, that's just how I feel. All right, don't come for me. All right, I'm just saying that's just how I feel, though. Man, she right. He got the conscious community looking bad, right? She not lying though. She right. He do get the conscious community.
You guys out here looking crazy, but I told y'all. I warned y'all and I told y'all. I said folks are going to get exposed in the conscious community. I told you this. I told you, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, but that type of embarrassment is on a whole different level. That's on a different level. Okay? But I told y'all what to look for. I just wasn't expecting it to go down like that. That kind of threw it. That there. I'm not gonna hold you. I watched the videos of that. And we're gonna talk about a couple of things, because there's a couple of things with that's kind of got me feeling some type of way on one hand. There's just a lot of different dynamics going on here that I'm gonna express and that I'm gonna get off my damn chest. Billy Carson is who I'm talking about. Okay? Jay-Z and Billy Carson is who I'm talking about as of today. Okay? Someone said, who, Bitcoin? You can't be that ignorant, bro. you can't be that ignorant. Oh, just go look on YouTube and you're going to see it all over the internet. All over the internet. You're going to see it. If it says that I'm freezing, or if you're freezing, just log back out and come back in. Okay? Yeah, I was kind of shocked about it. But let me just express this one thing. Okay? I personally do not have an issue with Billy Carson. So let me just lay this down here on the table right now. I personally don't have an issue with Billy Carson. However, I have observed the conscious community. And I have observed a lot from a lot of our people in the conscious community. I've observed. Okay? Lord knows I've had my share of attacks left and right. We all get attacked. We all get so-called exposed, if you will. Yeah. But most of our people don't even know what the definition of exposed really is, right? They make up shit to create their own narrative and think that they're exposing something. You really can't expose a person who's an open book, okay? I just gotta state that first, okay? The thing that is happening within this community, and I want to get you guys' opinion about this, okay? I want to get your opinion about this. Okay, we're going to talk about Billy Carson first. All right. So it came in my timeline on YouTube. What brought it to my attention was 19 Keys. 19 Keys popped up in my timeline on YouTube. And he was making a statement about how our people always seems to laugh at our people and are happy to see when our people take a fall, whenever it is Caucasians that is exposing certain things within our community. And I was listening to him. I didn't even realize something had went down with Billy like that, because I wasn't in tune like that. And then when he brought it up, I decided to go search for it, and then all kinds of stuff started coming up. I mean, all types of stuff started coming up. I didn't even know this had even happened to him. Okay? And basically what ended up happening was, according to what I saw in the videos, he ended up, a guy that was working for Billy, I think he was Billy's editor, knew some other guy that Billy knew. The guy that was the editor was going through some files of another guy that was Billy's neighbor or something like that. And basically the guy that was his editor got a hold of the files and decided that he was going to expose Billy about this interview that nobody ever saw, right? And basically, it was an interview about proving, according to the scripts that he was citing throughout sources left and right, the stuff that he was sourcing. When this other guy asked him to do an interview, they set him up. They asked him to do an interview. They brought this other guy by the name of Wes. He's a Caucasian, but he's very versed and very well studied in ancient manuscripts. And so he was the guy that started challenging Billy's information that he was putting out there. And the reason why really they even came after him was because he was putting stuff out there, moving against Christians and stuff like that, saying, you know, Jesus had a wife, and, you know, questioning out whether or not, you know, there's a lot of stuff that was talked about, that Billy was talking about, and he was citing sources. But then they brought the white boy out who was very well versed, and Billy didn't do his due diligence when the guy asked him when he do an interview. According to Billy, the guy was just in there in the actual interview along with the guy who was moderating the whole thing. And Billy literally went next door to the guy's house. He actually went to the guy's house. He had told his wife, I'm going to go over here and just holler at him, this, that, and third. Now, the guy that Billy didn't know about, I went to do research on this guy. And this guy is known for his knowledge about manuscripts and ancient texts. And so when you start getting into those types of things, and you start talking about things that are not in the actual manuscripts that you're citing your sources from, it becomes a problem. And so basically what happened was he challenged Billy's information. He basically ate Billy Carson's ass up. I ain't gonna hold you. He ate his ass up. He got him out here looking crazy as hell. Okay? And the guy was polite. He wasn't rude. He wasn't disrespectful. He was very calm in his demeanor. He was asking Billy questions just so he could get clarity himself to understand where he's getting his information from, and asking him some specific texts and things like that. And so then, you know, Billy was citing his information as far as what he knew and all that type of stuff. And then the guy was coming back on him saying,
yo, that was the worst time. Being in school, you gotta like cite where you got your information from. I hated that. I hated that. Like, why I can't just come up with my own ideas? Yo, like, man, I hated them days in school. You had to really give them, where did you get that from? That's not original from you. Like, it's crazy, man.
And well,
and that's another thing. Like, nothing is an original thought. Like, you gotta get an inspiration from somewhere, you know, to make up whatever you gonna make. Like, you have to see something to make whatever you about to make. Like, that's crazy how that works. Like, nothing is really original.
Actually, that's not actually what it actually says. This is what the actual text actually says. And this came from this and this and this. And actually, the stuff that you're quoting from is actually forged. It's an actual forgery. So it looked extra crazy. It looked extra crazy in terms of some of the sources that he was quoting from. Unlike us in Black America, we don't go and we don't challenge the information. We don't go and do our own research. We don't do that. We just listen to what someone has to say because it sounds good. And I think this should be a lesson to the conscious community as well, that when it comes to, if you're citing sources and you're talking about specific manuscripts and specific texts, I think it would be in your best interest to go and do the research for yourself to see if these things are what's being said. And that's really how you got Billy, was the fact that he was citing sources that he actually didn't do his own research on. That's really how you got him. And he destroyed him. Okay, I'm not gonna hold you. It was bad. Like, I would have melted in that live. I would have melted. This is the reason why I always say I get my information from within. You don't ever hear me citing books. When you guys come to me, you ask me, what books is this? You're not going to hear me citing a book. I tell you, I'll get my information from within. Now, they can't really mess with that because that's spirituality. That's a different level of stuff going on right there. That technically can be subjective according to the person who's going inside and getting the information. Okay? So, but when you start quoting specific texts, and you start seeing
That's how they
certain
get
things,
you, though.
there's always
When you quote stuff like that, that's how they get you. That's how they got him. That's why they was able to even say he's being exposed. Man, everybody has their perspective on life, man. You know, everyone got their own perspective. I don't even know why we gotta fight against each other, right? Just because he got a different perspective, you dislike him, you look at him different. Like, come on, man. We all trying to learn. We all on a journey. You know, we're just trying to figure out this thing, man. Like, we are in the matrix, man. Like, come on, y'all. Can't be like, but hey, I ain't gonna lie. He did need to do his research, though, because, man, yeah, that's what I say. Everything, I ain't finna quote nothing. Everything comes from within, man. That's how they got him.
going to be somebody out there, if you're not careful, there's always going to be somebody out there that knows more than you do.
Yeah.
That's why you always have to have a certain amount of humility whenever you're out here and you're putting this information out there. So white boys made him look crazy. They leaked the interview on the internet. The dude that was actually his guy leaked the shit on the internet. Billy looking all crazy. Billy had to come out and he had to do it. He had to come out and try to clean it up. But even when he was trying to clean it up, it looked even crazier. So it was just like, damn, bro. The real thing you should have just did was, and this is a very real level. This is something very real, and this is going to be a lesson for him, and that goes for anybody else. The lesson about humility. The lesson about just coming straight out and just saying, you know what, I didn't do the necessary due diligence that I should have done to avoid situations like that, because it's very embarrassing, and I was embarrassed for him.
It is embarrassing.
And also, not only was I embarrassed for him, I was embarrassed in terms of how it represents our community, because our community was giving him a pass and not doing the due diligence themselves. So to also maybe look at that and say, like, damn, okay, so the people that are listening, what are you guys really listening for? Is this entertainment? Because now I really think now that 90% of the people that's in the black conscious community are just there for entertainment. Okay? They're just there for entertainment. That's what I sincerely think it is. Because why didn't any black scholars come out and challenge his information? Why didn't any black scholars come out and pull him to the side and say, hey bro, let me holler at you real quick. I know you said this and this and this, but the research I did showed this, and this. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to embarrass you like that. I just want to put that out there. Maybe perhaps you can give you some insight as to how you came to this, because I'm not getting, this isn't, what you're saying isn't in these particular texts and the way that you're saying it. So could you kind of break it down for me and give me some understanding as to how you came to this? You know what I'm saying? I would have rather a black scholar would have came out and spoken to him and pulled him to the side, not on the public platform, and said, let's handle this way over here. Right?
Yeah.
That's the way I feel like that things should have went down. But unfortunately, it didn't go down that way. And the very people who he spends his time with, that he's building his empire with, have decided to move against him to really embarrass him. And I mean, these videos have like hundreds of thousands of views on it. So this is literally destroying. It's like destructing someone's empire. The whole business and foundation that he created was based upon his teachings. So when your whole foundation, everything that you built upon, is based upon your teachings, only for it to come out that your teachings are false, that literally destroys a person's entire career, everything that you build. Because now people have to question about your information. Now what's going to happen is people are going to start going back now and looking at other information, and now they're going to start doing their research to find out, is what he's saying true when he's speaking about other subjects. That's what's going to start happening now, and more videos are going to be made. I think I counted like 15, 20 videos. I think I counted so many videos I lost count. And then there's other people coming out more now and speaking on this more now. And this literally happened like, I think 5 days ago. So I didn't even know this had even happened. Okay? Now 19 Keys brought a point. And his point was, he didn't like the fact that our people were laughing at Billy, making fun of Billy, tearing him down. There were videos that I saw of brothers that were taking clips from the interview that he did with them and dissecting and breaking that stuff down and giving their own commentary on it. Now, on one hand, I'm thinking, okay, damn, why does it have to be us that's doing this? Then there's the other hand of why did this even happen in the first place? You know, always look at everything happens for a reason, right? I don't think this happened by accident. I think this happened for a reason. There's something behind that. Something was set into motion on him to bring this out to light. Now, I don't know why, and I don't know who, because I didn't look that deep into it in that way. But I do feel like that there are things that happen for a reason. And I had to ask, why did this come out on him like this? Why was this done? We don't know these people. We don't know what they got going on behind the scenes. We don't know nothing. We don't need to know nothing about these people. We don't know shit. But I told y'all, I warned y'all, and I told y'all that this was going to happen. I specifically said, you guys better be careful out here. The exposure is going to go from the higher levels all the way down to the lower levels. And I specifically said, watch what happens in the conscious community. And because he's so big within the conscious community, the black conscious community, because he's so big, and that is a serious hit. That's a serious hit. Okay, that's a blow. And then to make matters even worse, they showed the video of Billy Carson getting his paperwork together, I guess, to threaten people about filing a lawsuit. And Billy Carson is caught in a video on a Ring camera, knocking on his door, walking on his white boy's door at 3 o'clock in the damn morning. 2:30, 3 o'clock in the damn morning, knocking on this man's door. I guess trying to stop it, trying to clean it up, and to try to serve this guy while he's in the house with his family sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, look, we live in what country we living in, y'all? What country we living in? We live in the United States of America. Well, I don't anymore, but I'm just saying, the majority of us live in the United States of America, right? As a person of color, you don't knock on no white person's door at no damn 3 o'clock in the damn morning to serve them papers. That is all over the internet. So that looks crazy to me. So to make matters even worse, this is how you're responding. This is how you're reacting. I don't understand that. Listen. Damn. And then if you would have got shot, then what?
Come on, man. Really? She didn't have to say
Then
that.
what? What would the community be saying then? You don't make moves like that. You get your attorney to handle the business. You don't get involved in anything whatsoever in terms of that, like you're trying to go and actually intimidate someone. You don't do that. Especially somebody on the level that he's operating on. You don't go knock on no white person's door or any person's door that matter at 3 o'clock in the morning. What you do is you do what they do. You go, you hire a lawyer. You have the lawyer hire a process server. That process server goes and serves in the papers. That's what you do. I don't care where he lives at. You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do shit like that. It just makes it so much worse.
Yeah. It's like you're trying
Oh,
to
it was
hide
him. Because you can see him in the video. It's definitely him. Now, someone says, I get what you're saying, but all skin folk and kinfolk, I don't want to see people who look like me fall when they're genuine and they're really for the collective. Well, that indigenous woman, I can't say whether or not this man is for the collective or if he isn't for the collective. It's not for me to judge that. It's not for me to judge that, whether or not he's for the collective or not. If he's not for the collective, then I guess Source will deal with things accordingly. And this is the reason why I said, I warned y'all and said that these things were going to happen. But my question I want to ask you is this. Are people who look like us wrong for laughing at him? Should we be the people that bring correction to Billy Carson? Or do we let the others come out there and embarrass him? I just want to see how y'all feel about that. I'm not saying not bring correction. Correction must be brought. But what I'm saying is the other people that look like us wrong for tearing him down along with the white folks? Because they have a history of this type of shit. Let's not pretend like they don't have a history of this. They have a history of it. Your answer is not right or wrong. I just want to get your opinion. Okay? Is this correct or not correct? I want to start a discussion. Because I think it's something that we need to have a discussion about. Because it's becoming more and more clear to me as the day passes that we need to start dealing with our own in our own way. We need to be the ones to start bringing the correction. We don't need other people outside of us to bring any type of correction to anything. I think that we need to be the ones to handle it. And besides that, it's going to be worse coming from us anyway, because the way we think from a collective standpoint in the sense of how you're making us look. Bro, you got the whole community out here looking crazy as hell because the community is what gave him the pass. The community is not who checked him before it got this far. This is the reason why I'm saying this. It should have never even gotten this far. So on one hand, I can also see your point about the selfishness and maybe the person might not be for the collective. I can see that. I can see where you're coming from with that. But it's just something I want you to think about. But I do feel like we should clean up our own house. I say let Source handle it, and however that happens, then so be it. He should want to correct himself internally. Of course, you know that this is going to... Listen, do you understand the level of humbleness that has to hit him at this point? Because if he's not going to come out humble after everything got exposed now, then I feel like the conscious community will humble him. I feel like we are going to be the ones that's going to come and humble him, because the white folks then did what they did. They decided to go ahead. This is how I see it. We got another arrogant out the picture. Now their whole credibility is out the window. I don't want you to understand something. This dude was on Joe Rogan's show. He was on the Joe Rogan show. That's how big Billy was getting. He was on the Joe Rogan show. You know how big you are when you get on the Joe Rogan show, y'all? How much noise you're making if you get on Joe Rogan's podcast? Are you serious right now? You know how many millions of listeners listened to Billy Carson when he did that interview? Only for the backhand stuff to turn around and come back and bite him in the ass. And I guarantee you when he did that interview, that thing was set in motion for them to shut his ass down. I guarantee you. Because the way they set him up was so smooth, the way they did it. And I think there is a lesson in humility here. A lesson in checking your own ego. That's some harsh lessons that people are going to have to go through. That's a harsh lesson that I feel that he's going to have to go through now. Okay? You're going to have to go back and listen to the live. I already broke it down, baby. You coming in late. Someone said all lies will be exposed. Well, remember how that God complex kept coming out yesterday during your readings? I think that applies to him. It applies to a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are suffering from that. A lot of people. A lot of people. But the collective can't check him if they don't listen. Yes, they can check him if he doesn't listen. You know how they check him? You know how they check him? They stop listening to him. Simple. I'm going to tell y'all right now, this put a dent. He's on Gaia TV. This dude's been on so many of their platforms.
Yeah.
So many of their platforms. Only to find out that he wasn't putting out the correct information. And them showing the video of him knocking on this dude's door at 3. I'm telling y'all, I already know how this going to go. I already know how this doesn't end very well. This doesn't end very well. That brother's going to have to get with a priest. He's going to get some work done. Something. I don't know. He's going to have to do something, fam. He's going to do something to quiet that energy down. Something. You know what I'm saying? Because the way he's going about it now, because so many people have their eyes open on everything that's going on. And you know, we as a community, we like to hold our people to a higher standard when they mess up. We do. We hold people to higher standards than we hold to ourselves. We will hold somebody else to a higher standard than we won't even hold ourselves to the same standard that we'll hold somebody else to. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Our people love negativity and they love to tear down shit. If they're not successful and they see somebody else that looks like them that's successful, they want to see that person fall. That's the truth. That's the truth. And what I see is a lot of us out there that are participating in that, and that's why I had to put the disclaimer out from the very beginning and say, I do not have an issue with him. However, I don't like what went down and the way that went down and how that made us all look as a conscious community. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Because now what's going to start happening is everybody's going to start coming in even under more scrutiny. People that are on his level are going to come under more scrutiny now. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. As long as the person is being 100 all the way across the board, then they shouldn't have anything to worry about. At the same time, I don't think that we're the community also that should give passes. I don't think we should do that either. I'm not giving Billy no pass. He doesn't get a pass from me. Because at the end of the day, you know how this goes. Eventually, somebody's going to catch up to you.
Yeah.
And someone's going to challenge what you're saying. I just hated that it had to be them. I hated it had to be them in the way that it was done. I hate that. Because all their stuff is circulating on all their big platforms. Because they have bigger platforms than most of us do. It's circulating through all their big platforms. And I feel it is designed as a character assassination to destroy what he's built. On the other hand, we could say, well, he destroyed himself. Okay, there's the other flip side to that. He destroyed himself. Okay? So there's the other flip side to that. That's a double-edged sword. But I just wanted to bring that to you guys. I just wanted to bring that as a discussion, as a conversation to have. But this is just one of many that's going to take a hit. He's not the only one that's about to take that fall. There's a few others that's going to take a fall. A hard fall. A hard fall. No, I said Billy Carson. I don't know who you talking about, fam. It is because the others do not serve God. They want him to tear himself down because they don't serve God. It could be it. Use your blood clot discernment, man. That's right, baby. You're going to have to go back and you're going to have to listen to it, beloved. You're going to have to go back and listen to the beginning of the video to understand what happened. I'm not going back and I'm not repeating myself. When celebrities put out a statement, it's damage control. When celebrities don't put out a statement, it's all fake news for entertainment. That's actually incorrect information at Cosmic Guild. That's incorrect information. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to protect what you have because there are people out here that really will try to go out here and destroy your reputation. And when you worked hard for what you have, you are. If Jay-Z didn't come out and put out a statement, it would look even crazier. I'm going to tell you that right now. It would look even crazier. Things are a little ass backwards in the thinking of the collective and how they see things because they're not operating in that space. You're not operating in that space that Jay-Z's operating in. So I can see why he's not doing this to impress the regular people. I want you guys to understand that. His reputation is not, he's not saving his reputation for people like you and I and other regular people. That's not what this is about. He's saving his reputation because of his business dealings that he has to deal with operating on that level. There's a big difference. He's not concerned about you. He don't even know who the hell you are. He don't care about you. He don't even know you exist. But when you're a billionaire and you're operating on that level and you got all kinds of business dealings and all kinds of stuff going on for yourself, for your wife, and you spent years building up this empire over a period of time, over a period of years, and you put in some work, whatever you had to do, work plus rituals, I don't know, whatever the hell, allegedly. Whatever it is that he had to do to build it up, the bottom line is he had to make some serious sacrifices to make that happen. So when somebody comes out and puts out that type of allegation, which is very serious, then yeah, it looks crazy. And it's all over the damn news. It's on all mainstream media. Okay, Jay-Z looks crazy as hell. And this is coming from that attorney who took on that 120 victims, right? And this attorney ain't no slouch. That's the thing. If you go and research that attorney, he's not no slouch type of dude either. This dude is no joke. He's not to be played with. So when you got someone on that level that's coming after somebody like a Diddy, that's coming after somebody like a Jay-Z, that is very serious. If it wasn't serious, it wouldn't be all over the news right now. You know what I'm saying? That makes me think, since it's all over the news, that also lets me know that the gatekeepers that he's been dealing with, has already said, okay, we've shut the door on him. Now I'm gonna tell you when they shut the door on Jay-Z. I'm gonna tell you when it happened. I'm gonna tell you when they shut the door on Jay, in my opinion. When he came out last year at the Grammys last year and talked about Beyonce and how she didn't win Album of the Year and just how blunt he was about it. I looked into that situation and there was a lot of chaos that took place after that happened. There was a lot of people arguing, a lot of people fighting. There was a lot of drama that went on behind the scenes there. Now, what you don't know is, I'm gonna say it like this. Allegedly, and this video is for entertainment purposes only. Just want to put that out there. Allegedly, they sent out their hitman. He got placed on the list right after that happened. Now, there's two ways that Hollyweird is going to execute you.
What?
They're either going to execute you.
All right, because I remember talking about like how in Hollywood they have hitmen. It's not funny, but they have hitmen where they will basically assassinate you. You know, because you got so many deals signed with them, and it's like it get deep. Like it's crazy, man. That is insane, man. That's why, like, you cannot win with these people. They got everything locked down, man. All the way down to the food, to the food we eat, man. And you think then these celebrities think they got something, but they don't even care about y'all. Y'all just puppets, man. Just puppets. That's it. Telling y'all to push their agenda. That's it.
As in take you off the face of this earth, or they're going to do what you call a character assassination. I want you guys to understand how this works.
That's messed up.
They're going to do a character assassination. He was placed on the list right after he did that. Because the one thing about them people who are running those organizations is that they do not like to be embarrassed and they do not like to be made a fool out of. And they don't like it when you come out and speak. They don't want you coming out there and speaking out of turn. They want you in your place. We gave you this wealth. We'll take this wealth back. And this is what happens to our people when you make a deal with the devil.
Yep.
You are controlled.
Controlled.
You are never going to see nobody in the United States that's operating on the level that he's operating on in the entertainment business specifically. Okay? I want you to be clear. We're talking about the entertainment space only and no other spaces. In the entertainment space, and think that you're not going to have somebody to answer to, because those people have to answer to open the doors for you to get to that level. You don't get to that level just by hard work. You get to that level because those certain people have to open up those doors. And some people require you to walk through certain doors, and some people require you to do certain things in order for those doors to be open to you, for you to get certain passes to get on certain levels. It is what it is when you're in the entertainment space. We're not talking about no other space but this space. Now, in general, you're still going to have certain doors open when even if you're not operating entertainment, but you're operating in business, and you're operating and doing other things where you're an inventor or something like that. There's a ceiling for us, is what I'm trying to explain to you. No matter what, there's a ceiling. It's just that how you get there is going to be a different way that you get there. In the entertainment space, there are certain rules of the game that you have to play by. There's no getting around that. We said, okay, Jay, we're going to get Jay and Diddy. We're going to give you the power to control black entertainment. We're going to give you that power to control that. And that means that any other artists that are coming up under them that are not operating on that status, they have to answer to somebody. You have to get a pass. You have to get a cosign from somebody when it comes to us. And those are the gatekeepers that you have to deal with. And in those spaces, those particular people that you're in bed with, that you're making that money with, require you to do certain things, require you to participate in certain rituals. So you show and pledge your allegiance to them. And the first time your ass get out of line, well, here comes a leaked tape. Here comes somebody coming out the blue all of a sudden, this new character coming out the blue. Where the hell does this attorney come from? You think this attorney ain't a Mason? You think that they didn't set him in motion to go after Diddy? To go after Jay? Of course they did. It's the good old boy network. This dude just came out of nowhere. So it seems. So once you understand how the game is played, then you'll know what to look for.
Jay-Z there.
Again, if you're a billionaire, you have to answer to someone. The reason why you have to answer to someone is because you are not controlling the economics of the entertainment business. You're still under those people. This is what racism is about. It's not about the color of someone's skin per se. It is about self-preservation, controlling the finances, controlling the economics, controlling the judges, controlling the courts, controlling all the different areas, okay, that allows you to run a country. It's them that's controlling that. They're the ones controlling the banks. They're the ones controlling the government. They're the ones that's controlling fashion. They're the ones that's controlling all the corporations. They're the ones that's always at the top of the food chain. So in order for you to get to the top of the food chain, you have to work with these people. So the racism, what true racism is about what I just said. Controlling all of the sectors that make things happen. We don't have that type of control because we're too busy giving our money to them. Now, if we were to say, okay, we're going to start building our own hospitals and our own grocery stores and our own school systems and we created what you call a black party, that's going to change the game in a lot of different ways. A black political party, that's going to change the game in a lot of different ways. But because we have not done so, and we keep running back and forth and ping-ponging between these stupid-ass Democrats and goddamn Republicans and that stupid bullshit, any system that they created, because we keep participating in the system that they created, we can't get ahead. Because we don't create our own party and we don't create our own system. But yet, we are the biggest spenders of this economy. But we make up only 13% of the population. These people got rich because of us. And we don't want to see nobody that looks like us make it to that level. You guys sit up here and complain about people's prices. You guys sit up here and complain and find a way to tear somebody down every chance you get. It's a constant thing as to the reason why none of us can get ahead to get in that space. And then once some of us get in that space on a certain level, then you got to worry about COINTELPRO, which is when they use these alphabet agencies to go in and send people who look like you to go in and infiltrate and still tear your ass down, like they did with the whole thing that happened with Black Wall Street. When Black Wall Street came into effect out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they were not spending money with Caucasians. That's the reason why they went in and tore the shit down. They did the same thing in Philadelphia. We didn't have to spend money with them. We were wealthier than the Caucasians that was around us. They said, oh, you're not spending no money with us? We're not getting any of that economics? You're not sharing none of that power with us? Okay, we're going to bomb the shit out you and tear your whole shit down and kill all your people. And because they control the court systems and the law and the police and the agencies and things like that, guess what? Now it's another story in the history books. Now, I don't know if Jay-Z did what the people are saying he did. I have no idea. These are accusations. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't know. But what I will tell you is that I gave you guys a warning, and it looks like it's coming to pass. It looks like it's coming to pass. You and Dyer talking that sass. I'm in her.
It's looking bad, man. It's looking bad for Jay-Z, man.
Y'all crazy. 2024 is wicked.
It's been a year, man. It's been a year.
Listen, you think 2024 is wicked. I want you to be clear about something. It's just getting started. Remember, the real new year doesn't doesn't come into play until April 1. So we got all the way till April 1. It's still 2024, regardless of what that goddamn Gregorian is talking about. Damn that Gregorian. Damn that. It's April 1 when that new year comes in. So you guys are going to continue to keep seeing craziness taking place. It's going to continue. Okay? You guys are going to see some crazy stuff go down that's going to have you shaking your head. Now, also at the same time, I told you that the Anunnaki are here. And I told you they're going after the people that are soulless. Now, just keep watching. Just keep watching. First, the empire got to go. Then you go. Remember that. If you are soulless, I'm going to say it again. If you are soulless, if you have done things to work against your community, if you built your foundation on a lie, the first thing that's got to go is the empire, and then you leave. In some cases, you're just going to leave. Everything without a soul is going to be eradicated. The only way that you lose your soul is if you do a deal with it. You would have to get that checked into at Spiritual JRNY. You got to get that checked into. And a lot of people did sell their soul for fame. And they're up out of here. Remember, you guys you're gonna start hearing about celebrities just disappearing, or you might hear about celebrities found somewhere dead. Know who that is and who's behind that. Because I had a serious conversation yesterday. I would really love to get into it, but I got a quantum shadow work class I got to teach in about 5 minutes. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. I found out some information about the Anunnaki yesterday. And what was explained to me was that the Anunnaki, I told y'all, I just found out not too long ago about them being angelics. I never knew that Anunnaki were angelics, but it makes sense now when you start thinking about Elohim. Elohim, it makes sense to me now that when I sit back and I think about it. But what was explained to me too is that the angels have the ability to elevate themselves to God's status. I did not know that. I was today years old when I found that out. So the Anunnaki, you have some Anunnaki that did elevate themselves to God's status. But what was explained to me was that there are certain tests that they have to go through before they're granted to become that status. That is what happened with Anu. That's what happened with Enlil. That's what happened with Enki, etc., etc. That's what happened with them. However, those Anunnaki guys, because they're such at a high elevated status, are not getting involved in this war. The soldiers are the angelics, and that is who is over this planet right now. The gods are just observing everything that's happening right now. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And I'm also going to drop something else on y'all that y'all...
We're looking at a gunman carrying out a hit. Police say no question he's aiming at his target, 50-year-old Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare.
It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind and fired several rounds.
Apparently, the gunman waited for about 5 minutes for Thompson to arrive at the Hilton Hotel on West 54th Street and 6th Avenue. Thompson was on his way to speak at the United Healthcare Group Investor Conference when the gunman walked up from behind and fired several rounds. This taxi driver witnessed it all.
I hear a shot, and when I look around, I saw a guy with a gun, and he shot 3 times. And then he started running. I was scared, because my car was on and maybe he's gonna shoot me because I saw everything,
Police believe the gunman is familiar with handling weapons. He targeted Thompson right as he crossed the street before entering the hotel.
The shooter steps onto the sidewalk from behind the car. He ignores numerous other pedestrians, approaches the victim from behind and shoots him in the back. The shooter then walks toward the victim and continues to shoot. It appears that the gun malfunctions as he clears the jam and begins to fire again.
After the shooting, police say the gunman ran into an alleyway near the Hilton. He then hopped on a city bike and was last seen riding the bike into Central Park. The timing and location of Thompson's shooting death has left some tourists very concerned.
I think it's definitely sad to hear that. I think we need more information to find out what was going on.
It's a bit scary. But on the whole, I feel quite safe here.
You are looking at a gunman carrying out...
Yo, bro, they be interviewing the most random people, I swear. I'm sorry. That is so funny to me, though. But this is strange. Like, why is he after somebody that worked for the United Healthcare? Like, what? And he's a CEO of it? Like, what is the connection? Like, why? Like, was he a hitman? Got me thinking, like, was he a hitman? Shoot. Somebody told him to do this? Like, for some money or something? Like, what's up? Like a GTA heist or something.
And first, we want to acknowledge that Brian Thompson was a husband, a father, a colleague to many, and so much of the rhetoric online regarding this issue.
So you mean to tell me my man was able to catch a body,
in broad daylight in New York City, escape the city, escape the state of New York, get to Altoona, Pennsylvania, only to be caught at a McDonald's because a random McDonald's worker recognized them. Not just that, but the fact that this man was caught with the silencer, the pew-pew, money, fake IDs, and all the other incriminating evidence that you would need to tie him to this crime. Now, I might have been born during the day, but I wasn't born yesterday. That sounded a little too convenient for me. You mean to tell me that a random McDonald's worker just so happened to look at this man and recognize him from a whole nother state over and called the police and said, hey, I think somebody suspicious is here in our McDonald's. When the average person couldn't pick a face out of a lineup, you mean to tell me this McDonald's worker was the one who identified him? I got some beachfront property in Idaho for y'all, cause ain't no way this man had a well-executed plan to take out a CEO in broad daylight in the middle of a city, then get out of that city, then have zero escape plan from there, only to be caught at a McDonald's in another state with everything they need to tie you to said crime. So you mean to tell me my man was able to catch a body?
The class of 2016 is truly defined by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition. Having great ideas, however, isn't enough to innovate. The class of 2016's inventiveness also stems from its incredible courage to explore the unknown and try new things. Just like we've done these past few years, we'll be exploring the unknown, whether that be attending colleges across the country, traveling the world during gap years, or fulfilling military service in foreign countries.
The Ivy League graduate suspected of gunning down a health insurance CEO has been shown eating McDonald's moments before his arrest. Luigi Mangione, who was charged with the murder of United Healthcare boss Brian Thompson in New York last week, was arrested on Monday in a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. Police recovered a gun, mask and writings linking him to Thompson's ambush. He'll now be extradited to New York to face charges. The Ivy League graduates.
Damn, they got him. I didn't catch him at McDonald's. What are you doing at McDonald's?
Just a few. Just a few minutes ago, police have issued this photo. They've released it, the NYPD, new surveillance photos, which they say show the gunman without his mask. The fatal shooting of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
What's something deeper behind the story, though? I ain't know why. We got caught at McDonald's, man.
It was here, inside an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's, nearly 300 miles west of New York City, where police say a 5-day manhunt came to an end when an observant employee noticed a suspicious person on his computer at a back table and called 911.
My partner and I recognized him immediately, just from what we saw in the media with photos, videos.
He had asked the suspect if he had been in New York City recently, and that really invoked a physical reaction from the suspect. He became visibly nervous.
Police say the man handed them a fake ID with the name Mark Rosario, the same name used to check into a Manhattan hostel where the suspected gunman, wanted for killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, stayed several nights. And in his backpack, they found a 3D printed handgun and silencer similar to the one used in the Midtown shooting, as well as a 3-page handwritten note expressing, quote, ill will toward corporate America.
We do not kill people in cold blood to resolve policy differences or express a viewpoint.
It was here, inside an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's, nearly
Sometimes you
300.
gotta go to that point, though. No, it's you the nature, man. I don't know. I feel like this is like an inside job, but who knows, man? Who really knows what's really happening behind closed doors? I'm just observing, you know. All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that video right there. Like I always say, I'm saying peace, abundance, prosperity, and good health your way. Make sure you take care of yourself. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.